Hi guys and welcome to this video. I don't know how watched this video is going to be, but it's probably my most important work yet. And it's called the 6 pillars of OCD. Now, you can imagine OCD treatment, or pretty much any treatment of any disorder, as a Roman or Greek temple. Now, in the Greek temple, you would have the weight of the roof placed on different pillars. But why? Well, because these pillars are essentially something that holds the weight. And because there are more of these pillars, the weight gets redistributed all the way and the pillars can hold the weight and it doesn't collapse. And you need to do the same thing when it comes to OCD treatment. You gotta have more tools in your toolbox because OCD is very heavy. It's a very heavy experience, and if you have just one pillar, like ERP, no matter how good that pillar is, most likely it's not going to work for you. Many of the best therapies for OCD today, if you take a look on research, like ICBT for example, you will find that approximately at around 15% of people don't benefit from that therapy. Now the question is why? My answer to that why is because they are not having more pillars. They're building and taking all that weight of their OCD just on one pillar. I don't think that's going to work. Not with the hardest of OCDs like I had. So what is the solution? The solution is what I call 6 pillars, and it's basically to place your OCD recovery journey on the 6 pillars that I'm going to tell you about. And these 6 pillars are what I saw within most of my clients who got their OCD subjectively to like close to 0 out of 10 or some even to 0 out of 10. Most of the people who got there, I saw these pillars in. Now, you may not have every single pillar out of these 6. You don't need everyone, but you need as much as you can. And basically, these pillars are insight, unconditional acceptance, lifestyle design, existentialism, and there's one more, and inner warrior. So with these 6 pillars, and let me really explain each and every one of them, your recovery will really be transformative, as I like to call it. It will really be something that's gonna help your life so much. It will really be something that's gonna defeat your OCD. But you need to have these 6 pillars. The first pillar is insight. You need to have some initial insight, meaning you will realize, you will see that what you're dealing with is in fact OCD. And then you should grow in that insight through using ICBT techniques from ICBT therapy, which is focused on insight, to see more and more that, oh, this is just OCD. Oh, and this is OCD. Oh, and this is just OCD thought. And to stop believing in them, to stop believing that it's something else than another trait of OCD. So this is insight. Then you need to have what I call unconditional acceptance. Not everyone needs to have that pillar. Especially people with harm OCD will likely not need this pillar at all. But unconditional acceptance is pretty much using rational emotive behavioral therapy for accepting A, all your worst OCD fears, and B, accepting the fact that you may never fully recover with OCD and that your life would still be great. You can still live a great life even if you never get OCD to 0 out of 10. So that's what I call unconditional acceptance. It's when you use your mind to accept some of the worst things that could happen to a human being, and you use it philosophically, and you realize that even if these things would happen, you wouldn't like them, you wouldn't agree with them, but you could still take them, you could still handle them, you could still live a life, even if some of the worst, most dreadful things happen to you, and that life could always still be worse, that you could still have gratitude even despite whatever would happen. This is what I call unconditional acceptance. Then the third pillar is called acceptance, and this is pretty much just for people like I was who fight with OCD all the time. What you need to learn if you fight with OCD all the time is acceptance, meaning to be able to sort of allow OCD to be there, not fight it all day long. You still need to fight it as well, but you can now give up the war as well when you have acceptance. You can now just realize, oh, I don't need to fight this thing like all day, all the time. I can just give up this fight at times. And that's what acceptance is. And it's sort of like, it's not unconditional acceptance, so you don't work with your thoughts. It's not a technique, it's more like this. It's more like taking a cross in Christianity. It's more like arms wide spread and being like, okay, if you want to be here, OCD, you can be here. If you want to bully me, you can bully me. I don't care anymore. I'll let you be here. So that's the third pillar. The fourth pillar is basically what I call lifestyle design. And that means that you have, if you ask yourself, hey, how much do I like my life? From 1 to 10 or from 0 to 10, the closer you will reply with 10, the more your lifestyle design is great. And lifestyle design is having a great daily regime, waking up early, not being on social media, especially not being on social media, not having dopamine addictions or addictions, so not always needing some dopamine spike, being able to work really hard, being able to have a purpose in your life with your work, having friends, having family in your life, having someone like a spouse, or some romantic interest, and having these all in balance. That's why I call it lifestyle design and not just regime or something like that, because I really think this is about designing your ideal lifestyle and living it as much as you can. ICBT therapy calls this your real self, or living like your real self. I call this lifestyle design, or I sometimes call it my ideal future self, and living like that ideal future self already. Another pillar then, fifth one, is what I like to call the inner warrior. The inner warrior is exposure and response prevention therapy. It's what's called ERP therapy. And it's basically, they call it the gold standard of OCD treatment. And it's really about you doing the opposite of what OCD wants you to do. When OCD tells you not to go somewhere, well, you will go there, because you will be like, you know what, OCD, I have enough of you. I have enough of you bullying me, and I'm not going to let you bully me anymore. So when you tell me not to touch something, I'm going to touch it. When you tell me not to go somewhere, I'm going to go there, because your bullying stops right here. I had enough of it. I don't want it anymore. So that's the inner warrior. It's having boundaries. It's using anger proactively to fight off your OCD. And then you need the sixth pillar, which I like to call existentialism. And this is oftentimes the missing link for many people. So I found out that with the best clients I've had, in terms of how fast they recovered, I especially loved a guy called Viking. I call him Viking. And he had social anxiety, not OCD. But he was basically a guy who, his recovery, so many things happened to him that, other people would be like, oh my God, this happened to me. I had 2 great weeks already, and then this, I'm so unlucky. And he was just like, this is another step of my journey. Like, if I want to be living like the version of me that has social anxiety on, let's say, 1 out of 10, that version would beat this new thing that happened to me. That version would just master this new thing that happened to me. It would slide through it. So this new unlucky thing that happened to me, this new symptom, this new thing that happened to me yesterday, you know what, Pavel? I'm taking it like a challenge. I'm taking it like another step, like the next level, like a new level in my recovery journey. And this is what I call existentialism. It's basically the ability to give meaning to your suffering, to see OCD as not just, this damn OCD, let's put it out of way, but to see it as what Joseph Campbell called the hero's journey, to really see it like something transformative, something that can make you into a better person. Or like Charles Bukowski said, "It's the only good fight there is." That's his famous quote. Yeah, life sucks, life's hard, but it's the only good fight there is. And we need that fight as people. We need a good fight. That's why you watch movies. You want to see the good fight. You want to see Harry Potter go through evil, face his challenges, and then becoming the man he became in the end. And that's what OCD offers you. OCD is a privilege. And existentialism means you study philosophy or religions, or you read memoirs of people, either of these three, and you realize, oh my God, like existence has a meaning, life has a meaning, and my struggle has a deeper meaning. It's not just struggle to get out of way and be like, oh, I finally am happy, I don't have OCD. No, life is about lessons, and this struggle of mine can teach me the best lessons of my life. And so it's change in your viewpoint into viewing life more philosophically. Instead of viewing life hedonistically, like, oh my God, I just want to be happy, I don't want my OCD. It's about viewing it as something that can make you even better version of yourself, that can give you even better life in the end if you overcome this thing and learn the lessons it should give you. You know, every client almost that got to 0 out of 10 from OCD that I had, I'm not even on 0 out of 10. I'm on 1 or 2 out of 10, which I kind of want, because OCD, I notice when I have OCD on 0 out of 10, I become very, very chill guy. Like I would just eat at bakeries the whole day here in Copenhagen. We got beautiful bakeries. I wouldn't care for anything in the world. So I want OCD on like 1 or 2 because I like that, to feel some anxiety throughout the day. It really keeps me much more motivated. But anyway, that would be for another discussion. But most clients who got to 0 out of 10, who completely fully recovered, who I had as my clients, they pretty much always had some form of existentialism, like Viking. Like I had another client, she believed in God, and she was just like, yeah, God is sending me this new symptom today. Yeah, I was good for 2 weeks, but now I got this new symptom because God wants me to have it. God sent it to me as another challenge to beat, as another thing to learn to accept, because as a Christian, she believed that her whole life is a journey of acceptance. And so this is such a different viewpoint, and it will help you so differently than someone who would be like, oh my God, another symptom. I was good for 2 weeks and now this. Why me? I'm so unlucky. Why this trigger had to happen? Now I'm back at it. So you need existentialism. That's the 6th and last pillar that you need. And guys, if you have all these pillars, OCD is heavy. It's a heavy experience. Most people crumble under that weight. And most people are crumbling. Even if they feel like they recovered somewhat, they're still crumbling under that weight. I'm not crumbling anymore. Because what I realized is I need more pillars. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just need 1 pillar or 2. It's not like everyone needs these pillars. Like all of them, I mean. But do a self-assessment. You know, do like, hey, how much do I have existentialism? From 0 to 10. 10 would be the best, 0 would be no existentialism. How much do I have insight? 10 would be I can recognize any OCD thought as, and not just say it's an OCD thought, but I truly don't believe these thoughts anymore. I can recognize them as OCD thoughts, and I just don't believe them anymore. I see into it now. I don't believe anything. I'm like, oh, another trick of OCD, and I truly believe it, that it's just another trick. That would be like 10 out of 10 insight. Or 0 out of 10 would be like, oh my God, it's not OCD, it's completely real. I'm really a pedophile, etc., etc. So rate it from 0 to 10, rate each and every one of these 6 pillars: insight, lifestyle design, unconditional acceptance, inner warrior, and existentialism. And then, you know, I'm not saying all of you need to have all of these at 7 and more, so like really high, but take a look into it. You know, everyone's a different personality. There are some people who don't need unconditional acceptance at all, especially people with harm OCD. It's very hard to unconditionally accept that, yeah, maybe I could really be a killer. So for those people, what's better is just having an insight, ideally on 7 to 10 out of 10 if you have harm OCD, having really good acceptance of all the physical symptoms that will come with your OCD, like stomach ache, etc. You know, just being like a cross, like, all right, I don't like this, but be here as much as you want. I accept it. I'm not fighting it anymore. Then having a really good existentialism may help you, and and you may be good with just those 3 maybe. You know, some people don't even need as good of a lifestyle design. Some people like me, it depends on your personality, I needed everything good. All these 6 had to be 7+ for me, and they're all 7+ for me right now. I had to be on that point to be able to say that my OCD is on 1 or 2 out of 10. You know, some people can get their OCD to 0 out of 10, and they may have maybe just 1 or 2 of these pillars. It depends. OCD is a spectrum. I was here. I'm the hardest case of OCD I've probably ever seen, or one of the hardest. But I would say the hardest for me, if I take how many types I had, that I had unique types that no one else had, and that I had it from 7 years old, I would say I'm the hardest case I've seen. And I had 0 hobbies for the first 20 years of my life. I couldn't do anything where OCD wouldn't be. I needed all 6 pillars because the weight of my OCD was so big, I needed more pillars. I couldn't have just ERP, which is the inner warrior pillar. I couldn't have just insight, which is ICBT pillar. I needed it all. You may be different. So rate those for yourself. Think of what it would take to get to like 9 out of 10 in these pillars, because no one is on 10, I think, but to get to like 8, 9, what would it take for me? Maybe my existentialism is on 3. Okay, I can read some Marcus Aurelius. I can read some memoirs. I can become religious. Whatever it is for you, whatever resonates with your personality. Because recovery has to be tailored to your personality. It's not universal, it's not uniformal. So tailor it to your personality. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video about 6 pillars of OCD treatment. And let me know what you think of this, or I can shoot some longer video if some of these pillars, if you would like to go more in depth on them. And I hope you like this, guys, and see you later with some other videos. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, click on the subscription button down below, because I'm going to shoot more videos like this. And I think I got very unique approaches to OCD. And let me know down in the comments. I make sure usually to reply to them all. Anyway, guys, have a good one, and see you later. Peace.